want to review kind of the language of Pilates and some of the terms that we use, and then today really focus on incorporating those concepts into our movement. So the first term that I've used before, I always use, is the Powerhouse. And this is in your reading for this week too. It's just a review. It's revisiting all the terms that we know. So the Powerhouse is a term that was created by Joseph Pilates, and it includes essentially everything from like armpits to the pelvic floor. So it includes the muscles of the shoulder blades, so that would be kind of the latissimus dorsi, kind of around here, latissimus dorsi, around to the side, the serratus anterior, which is a muscle we will talk about I think in a week or two. It includes all your core muscles, and we know now the core muscles are your abdominal muscles, the muscles in the front, they're the muscles in your back, muscles of the lumbar spine. It includes muscles of the pelvic floor. It includes the glutes. It even includes inner thighs. So it's kind of everything from armpits to pelvic floor. And it's the concept of all movement in Pilates initiates from the powerhouse. So we never go like, I'm just going to move my arm. It's really, you draw your shoulders down, you scoop out the abs, you pull up through the pelvic floor, and then you initiate the movement. So your powerhouse kind of centers and anchors all movement. And that's super important. And I sometimes will say, like, do I see your connections? It's meaning, are you like powerhoused up? And I can tell, because what that means for me when I'm looking at your body is your body moving and rocking around? Because if it's moving and rocking around, it's not anchored. It's not anchored and grounded into the earth. And the way you anchor and ground it is by pulling everything into midline, to centered. And that's all those muscles of the powerhouse. So today I want us to really focus on the powerhouse and initiating all movement from the powerhouse. So in Pilates, like in yoga, they kind of an image that's used in yoga is like you're a starfish and everything is emanating out, and you're just growing big and long and into the earth. And in Pilates, it's a little bit similar, but it really starts at this powerhouse center. Then you lengthen long, but you pull back into center. So it's always coming back to center, whereas in yoga might be a little bit more about opening out. So again, it's that anchoring, the centering, the powerhouse, they're all kind of considered the same. Okay, then there's the scoop. All right, so let's just all scoop out right now. So let's start our scoop by this. I usually don't cue this, and we won't probably be able to get to this, but first let's pull up at the pelvic floor. So think of your pelvic floor lifting up. So it's not just a Kegel exercise. So Kegel is squeezing the pelvic floor. This is your lifting up from the base of your pelvic floor. Then we pull the belly button to spine. Then we suck our ribs in together, zip them together and down. And then imagine your waistline could suck in towards your spine. Everything's cinching together. We're doing that waist cinching. Wrapping, pulling in. Now roll the shoulders back, draw the shoulder blades down and spread them wide and try to connect them. So the shoulder blades wrap around the sides of your ribs. Your ribs are sucking in and down. Belly button is in. And that's kind of the scoop, it's the whole powerhouse scooping out. The whole abdominal wall, including those shoulder blades spreading out, wrapping around. So the scoop is deep and big. A lot of the exercise also, you add in this hugging in of the hips, the outer hips hugging in. So what that is even if we're sitting here and we put our hands on the sides of our hips, and imagine, could you hug your hips in and away from your hands? So do that, hands on your hips, and then just could you hug your hips in towards each other, in towards midline. So those muscles we're using are called the glute minimus and the glute medius. There's muscles of your butt, but they're not the big muscle that like people think of when they're working their glutes. It's kind of these stabilizing muscles. So we're hugging in and then again pulling up through the pelvic floor, even pulling, kind of hugging the inner thighs in towards the bone. So again, the scoop is a lot. It's engaging that whole powerhouse, but then really scooping out the abdominal wall. So we have powerhouse, we have scoop. Connecting, I've talked about that. It's connecting all the muscles of the powerhouse, having them all, because we are connected by fascia. Everything's connected. Like if I twitch my eye here, it's gonna it affects the fascia at my ankle. Believe it or not, like if you look at a cadaver, you can like move the air of a cadaver and the foot moves because it's fascia. So we're all connected. So it's kind of getting all the muscles of the powerhouse connected, pulling in, scooping out. Also, a little bit of connected is connecting mind to body too. So we have powerhouse, scoop, connection, midline. So we should all know by now midline means this, the center of your body. Like if a line ran down from your nose all the way down to the center of your feet, that's midline. So when I say hug into midline, it means hug everything into the center of your body, in towards your spine. And then in Pilates, there's this concept of length, and that is we're trying to create length. Axial length through the spine, and that's by pulling in and lifting up through the spine. But also with all movement, we're trying to lengthen, almost as if you can lengthen the bones, lengthen the muscle. Now, can you lengthen your bones? No, but you definitely can lengthen the muscle. And that's why in Pilates, a lot of people do Pilates look longer. Someone will say like, did you get taller? And it's just because you're lifting and lengthening. So all movement, say if we reach our arm out, we're really trying to lengthen it as far as it can go, and again then pulling back in and connecting in. So it's length but centering. And then I've mentioned this a couple times about opposition. So that length idea is the same thing. As you're reaching out, you're pulling back in. It's creating opposition. So when we're doing like our crisscross and I'm like, one leg pulls in so deep and the other one shoots out, and it's like creating an oppositional force, an energetic force, opposing force. So every movement in Pilates has that opposition component to it. So we'll try to kind of work on that as well. And then there's another term that I might use, and I'll say articulate through the spine, and that just means like stack one little vertebra on top of the other. So we do that like in the roll up or rolling in a ball or maybe bridging, articulating up and down the spine. So it just means stacking. Try to really get one vertebrae at a time, and that's trying to create a little length in between the vertebrae for spinal mobility. The Pilates box. I hope you guys know all these terms by now. The Pilates box is that idea of you have a line between your armpit to armpit. That's like the top of the box. I'm going to stand up so you can see me. Okay. Armpit to armpit, armpits to hip points together. So this box goes like that. And every movement we do, you never make your box smaller. So you wouldn't go like this. My box just got smaller here. You wouldn't, even when you're scooping out the abs, your box, this line here and line here, always stays wide and open. So Pilates box, so all movements, even twisting, you're trying to maintain the box. The box might move in different directions, but it's remaining open. So the term I will often use is collarbones wide, and that's this line here of your box. So now, what we should all do is like, I just have this image of a box, and I always go like, I don't know, it's about like 16 inches across my shoulders, 16 inches between my hip points, and I just try to, and then, you know, I don't know, 12 inches between armpit and hip, and I just try to keep that box exact same size throughout all movement. After Pilates box, I'll use the term a lot, shoulders down the back. So that is not just about like dropping the shoulders down. So our shoulders, and we'll all do this together, our shoulders move up, and our shoulders go down, our shoulders round forward, and our shoulders roll back. So they have 4 movements. Up means we elevate the shoulders, down as we depress them, rounding is we're protracting the shoulder blades spread apart, and then together is they squeeze together. So in Pilates, we want them down, and we actually want them out, but not rounded. So shoulder roll. Let's go up, elevation. Let's go back. So now keep them up though. So now we're elevated and retracted. Now let's depress them, keep them retracted. Okay, so now we're really wide here, but like my low back is like a major extension. I would look really funny if you saw me. So now from here, soften your front ribs in, pull the ribs in and down, and spread the shoulder blades just wide out to the sides. And that would be shoulders down the back. So it's not just down, not down and back, it's shoulders down and out wide. And so think of the collarbones will stay wide. And if someone was looking at your back would look, your shoulder blades would be flat on the back and they'd be spread out wide. Your back would just be nice and flat. A lot of times you'll see the shoulder blades squeezed together because people feel that's good posture. In the military, it's like, you know, they do that. They widen the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together. But in Pilates, it's base of the shoulder, like the bottom edges of the shoulder blades spreading out wide. C curve. That's a term that I use probably not as frequently as I use the scoop. C curve is by scooping out the abs, and let's all do this. We're pulling in the abs. We're going to pull so deep, scoop, scoop, pull the ribs in, suck the belly in, pull the waistline in, pull up through the pelvic floor, hug the outer hips in. Keep sucking in the abs so deep that you almost feel like you could create a little curve, a C curve with your spine. And so it's not dropping and creating a C curve by changing your structural position, but it's by scooping out the abs to create that C curve. And then there's some movements we do like roll up where you actually want to get into like a C curve, but it's always about pulling in, not about structurally changing your position. And then two last terms, which I probably haven't used specifically, but it's just something you should know. One is called Pilates posture, which is essentially everything we just talked about. Shoulders back and down, spread out, collarbones wide, Pilates box, having the connection. So Pilates posture is it's that, again, that plumb line posture where it's like if there was a line, it would go down through like your ear, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle from the front. It's, you know, not one shoulder is not lifted over the other, or we don't have any rotation going on. So it's, again, that plumb line posture. And then another term I've never used is called the Pilates stance. So the Pilates stance is typically considered your feet, your heels are together, your feet are apart. It's called the Pilates V. So a lot of times when we're doing any leg movement, I might say Pilates V, and that is feet are apart. So let's all stand up and we'll do the Pilates stand. So heels are together, feet are apart. Okay, and then we're going to ground down the weight. Like you want to kind of, let's move our weight to the kind of the front of the feet and then to our heels, kind of like we're rocking a little bit back and forth. And then slowly kind of stop the rocking and settle somewhere in between those 2 points. All right, and now we're going to squeeze the heels together, squeeze the back of the knees together, squeeze the inner thighs together, pull up through the pelvic floor. So almost like you're trying to zip up, 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 up. Hug the outer hips in, pull your kneecaps up, keep squeezing the back of the heels together. Roll the shoulders back and down, spread them out wide, scoop out the abs, suck your waist into midline, make sure those outer hips are hugging in, inner thighs together, pulling up through the pelvic floor. Arms are long, lengthened arms, soften at the top of the shoulders, and this is our Pilates stance. So it's an active position. So if we're laying down and I say Pilates stance with the legs, feel how engaged your legs are. Kneecaps are lifted, inner thighs squeezing together, outer hips hugging in, pulling up through the pelvic floor, abs in. It's super engaged. So once we start, like if I say double leg lower lift, we start in that Pilates stance. All right, so those are kind of all the terms, and I'm going to try to use those through our movement today. From hands and knees, spread the fingers wide, lengthen the arms, draw the shoulders down, spread them wide. Suck the belly in. Hug the inner thighs towards each other. We won't change the position of our legs, but we're just hugging in magnetically towards midline. Create a C curve with your spine. Create a C curve by pulling in. Keep the shoulders drawn down. Hugging the inner thighs towards each other. Hugging the outer hips in. Drop the head. We're in cat stretch. Keep the belly pulled in and slowly extend into cow. And now we're going to imagine that you're energetically trying to slide your hands forward as you C-curve the spine, hug the inner thighs towards each other, energetically sliding the hands forward, going into cat. Energetically slide the hands down towards your knees, keep the belly pulled in, and go into cow. Take an inhale. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. So the movement is never mindless. If you look at me for a sec, and I'll show you what mindless movement looks like, and this is why I can see it pretty easily in students. I'm kind of moving my joints. I'm not really, nothing's connected right now. And the difference is shoulders down, belly in. You're really using your powerhouse to initiate all the movement. So keep going, cat, cow. Really think of the powerhouse. That means shoulders down, lats engaged. Belly in. All the core muscles are working. Side tummy muscles pulled up, ribs pulled up, hip points pulled up. They're still pulled up and in. You're hugging into midline, even though you're going into cow. Cat and slide the hands forward. That will engage the arms. It will draw the shoulders down the back. And cow, slide the arms down. Cat, make sure the shoulders stay down the back, spread out wide. C, curve the spine by sucking in and up, shoulders away from the ears. And cow. And one more, cat. And cow. Go to a flat back, pull the ribs up, 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 spread the arms wide, bring the knees in a little bit. Let's do a little bit of warming up. Just push up, warm up. It's just to kind of warm up the joints, get the synovial fluids flowing through your shoulder joints. But let's use connections here. Inhale down, exhale, shoulders down, belly in, scoop out the abs. Okay, let's add that inner thighs hugging in towards each other, outer hips hugging in. Inhale, lower. Exhale, scooping, shoulders down, connecting. Everything connecting to the powerhouse. Inhale, lower. Exhale, shoulders down, belly in, waistline sucking in. One more time, inhale, lower. And exhale, shoulders down, arms lift and lengthen, pull the belly in. So as you're pressing the arms down, you're lifting the hands down, lifting the arms up, creating that opposition. And we go to a flat back. Bring the hands up, forward for a tricep warm-up. Spin your upper arm bones in towards each other. All right, fire up the inner thighs, hugging in towards each other, outer hips hugging in. C curve with the spine. Cat the spine, and now we inhale, lower, and exhale, lift. Are you still in your C curve? Inhale, lower, and exhale, pull the belly up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, hug the outer hips in, hug the inner thighs together, shoulders draw down the back. Inhale, lower, and exhale out, and come to a flat back. Take the hands a little bit further away, but wider apart to warm up the shoulders, shoulder warm up. And we're going to diagonally forward with the head and push back. Just starting with small movements. This work. This is just warming the shoulders. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press away. Don't forget about the connections. We never want to do mindless movement. Inhale, lower. Exhale, shoulders down. Belly in. Inner thighs hugging in. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. All right, bring the hands in. Curl the toes, draw the shoulders down, lift tall through the arms, suck the ribs and belly in. Almost try to create a C curve with your spine because you're sucking in so deep. Hover the knees. From hovering the knees right above the mat, so don't let them drop. Lift them up. Cat the spine. Return to a flat back. Draw the shoulders down, lift tall through the arms, pull the belly in, round the spine, C curve, hug the outer hips in. And flat back and drop the knees. Good. All right, curl the toes, shoulders down, push back to downward facing dog, pedal your heels. Side to side. Lift the right leg, lift it up to the sky. Stretch back, back, back. Arms go long. Leg goes long. We're creating length. Take an inhale, lengthen longer, and exhale. Move forward into a plank. Take your knee towards your nose. Cat the spine. Pull the belly up. C curve with the spine. Inhale, lift the leg up. Exhale, move forward, all the way forward into a plank. Cat the spine. C curve with the spine. Inhale, lift. And exhale, C curve with the spine. Pull the belly in. Step the foot through between the hands or move it through between the hands. And straighten and bend the front leg. Straighten and bend. And I want your foot right in between the hands, so the foot should be just directly below the nose. Straighten and bend. Good. Straighten and bend. And now would be a super good time to think about the principle of, like, your spine is more important than the legs in the world of Pilates. So for a lot of us who have tight posterior chain, tight hamstring, tight glutes, being in this position here might look something like this. You're really rounded and you're trying to stretch the hamstring. So the idea is to stretch the hamstring, so whatever format you need to be in to keep your spine long is the one you have to choose, because your spine's more important than the legs. For me, having my hands down is manageable, but for a lot of us it's not. All right, and drop the back knee. Go back to hands and knees. Shoulders down, lift tall through the arms, creating the opposition. So as we press down, we lift up in opposition through the arms. Curl the toes, push back to down dog. Lift the left leg up. Inhale, lengthen back. Exhale, move forward into a plank. Nose towards your knee, knee towards your nose, and then C curve. Cat the spine. Suck up, suck up, suck up. Deeper, shoulders down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, move forward. Nose to knee, cat the spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, move it forward. Pull the belly in, C curve around the spine, and step it through. Foot in between the hands, straighten and bend. And again, this is just a hamstring stretch, so whatever way you need to do it is fine. I'm fortunate enough that I can reach to the ground comfortably, and then I don't have to work on balance. But a lot of us, most of us, are up here and you're kind of working on balance, firing up the muscles as you stretch them, and that's okay too. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, drop the back knee down. Come to elbows. Set up for leg pull front. Shoulders down. Collarbones wide. Set up your Pilates box. All right, so collarbones wide. Extend the left leg, then the right. All right, firm up the legs. Pull your kneecaps up. Let's do Pilates stance in this position, a leg pull front. We haven't done that before. Pilates stance. Heels together, toes apart. Inner thighs hugging together. Outer hips hugging in. Back of the knees hugging together. Inhale, move forward. And exhale, lengthen back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Are we fired up? Are those inner thighs hugging together? Pulling up through the pelvic floor. 2 more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. 1 more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Drop to knees. Lower to belly. Arms go long. All right, we're going to go into swimming. But before we go into swimming, let's connect everything back to our powerhouse. Let's anchor. Draw the shoulders down. Lift your pubic bone up towards your belly button. Lift your hip points up towards the ribs. So we just lengthen the tailbone. We created space in our lumbar spine. Shoulders down. Hug into your waistline. Scoop out the abs. Suck the ribs up. Stay anchored. Stay cored up. And lift right arm and left leg. And lower it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Pilates length. We talked about that length. We're creating length. So even though the arm and the leg are lifting and they're lengthening, we're pulling back in to the powerhouse. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and lengthen. So again, shoulder blade down the back. Leg is long. Inner thighs are hugging in. And now both arms, both legs, belly up. And we swim for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest it. Bring the elbows in. Roll the shoulder heads back. Slide your elbows down towards your feet as you push into the mat to bring yourself back into child's pose. Knees apart. Karate chop the hands or clap the hands together
And then reach them back behind the head.
And hold them back behind the head.
And come up to hands and knees. Let's come to a seated position. And we'll roll up and down, just doing a little bit of practicing that articulation through the spine. So arms in front, and you should know by now you have your options. We warmed up the spine with cat and cow. We warmed up the hamstrings. We're ready to go into the roll up, but I want to focus on spinal articulation. So Pilates box, roll the shoulders back, draw the shoulders down the back, pull the belly in, hug the outer hips in, core up, engage your powerhouse, chin to chest, tilt the pelvis, and we're going to roll down one vertebrae at a time. Keep the knees bent. Just go to the low back only. Take an inhale and exhale. Scoop out the abs. Pull the belly in. Keep your Pilates box nice and wide. Shoulders back. Collarbones wide. And we roll down. And remember, I really want to get this articulation through the spine. So whatever way you're able to do that, I want you to use. This isn't necessarily trying to work the abs. It might secondarily work the abs, but I really want to rounding, articulate through one vertebra at a time as you come up and as you go down. Ending in your Pilates box at the top. And chin to chest, we're going to roll. And this time we're going all the way down. Rolling, shoulders back. They want to creep, shoulders back. Pilates box, nice, big and open. Go all the way back. Arms are going to go back. All right, check in with the curves of your spine. Your lumbar curve is probably a little bit bigger than we want it to be, so suck your front rib cage in and down. That's going to get us to neutral spine. Keep the knees bent, shoulders down the back, ribs in, hug into midline, hug the outer hips in. Roll up, inhale, chin to chest, exhale, roll. Feet are long, pull the belly in, C curve with the spine, suck it in. Reach forward, keep your Pilates box nice and open, belly in, suck it in, feet are flexed and legs squeezed together. We're hugging everything to midline. Shoulders down, hug the inner thighs in, and we're going to roll it down. So connect everything before we move. So arms go back. Hold it here for a sec. Just let's get connected. So bring your knees together. Hug the outer hips in. Draw the shoulders down the back. Suck your ribs in and down. Suck your waistline in towards midline. Scoop out the abs, and now we go. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, roll. Legs go long. Inhale, scoop out the abs. And exhale, roll it down. Pull the belly in. Even though we start to move faster, you don't want to miss any of those connections. And rolling up and down. Belly pulls in, and keep it going. I'm just going to watch a little bit. Feet are flexed, inner thighs squeezed together. Remember midline. Midline is very important in Pilates. Everything is always hugging into midline. Shoulders down. So that means the knees would be squeezing together. The inner thighs would squeeze together. The feet would squeeze together. Good. Darren, that looks really good. Slower on the roll down though, even if you need to bend your knees. Remember that articulation. So go slow, Darren, slow, slow. Round the low back, round the low back, round, Darren, low back, rounding. Good. Your shoulders look super good, super good. You're a little, keep going. You're a little clunky, and that's because you're tight. It's tight between the vertebrae. When it gets to that point where you're like, you just clunk down, that has to do with flexibility along the spine, not strength. Hey, Zeus, get those feet together. Legs together, remember midline, good. Belly pulls in, shoulders back, scoop out the abs, suck, suck, suck. Raise those arms up, Jesus, to parallel to the ground. Yep, shoulders back, Pilates box wide, and roll it down, down, down. Rounding the low back, keep those shoulders back, fire up the lats. Good, and you can bend the knees. It's fine to bend the knees. Good, couple more. Andrea, let's talk after class. Unrelated to this, it's just related to the midterm. But keep rolling. You're okay to keep rolling. Your rolling's fine. I just want to talk to you about midterm. All right, 2 more. Feet are flexed, inner thighs squeeze together, flex, toes to the nose, knees can be bent. Good, Jesus, I want to see a perfect one. Perfect, scooping out the abs, scoop, 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 scoop. Good, keep sucking and roll down. Looks so beautiful, so beautiful. Desiree, good, roll, roll, nice. That looks really good, guys. And let's come all the way up to a seated position. All right, and then let's pull the right knee in, roll the shoulders back, chin to chest. We're going to go into our Fab 5. So I want you to remember, these are the concepts. Powerhouse, opposition. Breath is always. I don't even need to cue breath anymore. We know about the Pilates exhale. But I want you to think about that opposition. Every movement has an opposition. Length, opposition, connections, powerhouse. All right. Right knee in, shoulders back, Pilates box, chin to chest, roll down. Lengthen the left leg. Create the opposition. Pull the right leg in deeper. Hug it in deeper as the left leg shoots out long. Hug into midline. Shoulders back. Fire up the lats. And let's go side to side. Strong arms. Collarbones wide. Belly in. Creating opposition and length. Good. That looks beautiful. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both legs in. Curl up a little deeper. Roll the shoulders back. Hug the legs together. Fire up the powerhouse. Shoulders down. Lats fired up. Hugging into midline. Knees together. Inner thighs together. Let's go. Inhale out. And exhale. Bring it around. So as we shoot out long, we pull in deeper and around. Creating opposition between that length, the reaching out, and the sucking in. Inhale out. Hug those legs together. Everything to midline. 2 more. Inhale out. Exhale around. 1 more. Inhale out. Exhale around. Right leg goes up. Left leg floats. Rest your head. Head down. Modified scissors. All right. Pilates box. I bet it closed up a little bit at the shoulders, so maybe walk the arms down a little along the leg. Roll the shoulders back. All right. Pulse the bottom leg. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Are you creating opposition? When that bottom leg reaches long, is that top leg pulling in deeper? Creating an oppositional force between those 2 movements of reaching out and pulling up. For 4, collarbones wide, 3, 2, 1. Hold the right leg in and now curl up, nose to knee, shoulder back, Pilates box, belly in, opposition. Pull the top leg, pull, pull, switch, pull, pull, switch, pull, pull, switch, nose to knee, sniff, sniff, blow. Belly in. Don't forget, we're trying to think about connections, anchoring, so your body should not be moving at all. It should be completely cemented and rested. Tee the arms, push the head into the mat. Just gently push it into the mat and look to your left. And back to center. And look to the right. And back to center. All right. We're going to do the doubled leg, lower lift. And then we'll move into crisscross. It's part of that Fab 5, the series of 5. Hands behind the head, curl up, chin to chest, pull the knees in, hug the outer hips in, pull the belly in, go deeper and imprint, extend the legs long. Pilates stance, back of the knees squeezing together, inner thighs squeezing together, belly in, outer hips hugging in. Inhale, lower, and exhale. Soften those hip flexors. Think of softening the thighs. So even though the inner thighs are hugging together, our thighs, front of the thighs are softened so that we don't overfire the hip flexors and try to tap into the side tummy muscles, your transverse abdominis, to pull the legs back in. Inhale, lower. Eyes on the belly button. Exhale. Inhale, lower. Are those legs long and strong? Are we in Pilates stance? Hugging inner thighs together for 2 and 1. Pull the knees in. Hug everything to midline. Cross over to your left. Shoulders down. Let's connect. Don't be anxious to move. Squeeze inner thighs together. Hug the outer hips in. Pull the belly in. Shoulders down. and switch, and switch. Create the opposition of the one leg that shoots out longer than you thought it could go, and the other leg pulling in as far away from the long leg. Let's see that opposition. And everyone, shoot your legs just a little bit higher towards the ceiling so you can pull in deeper, pulling your core in towards the floor for 4 and 3, hugging everything towards midline, 2, and rest it. Arms go long, legs go long, big stretch. Let the rib cage lift up towards the sky. Let it stretch for a moment. All right, pull the knees in towards the chest. Inhale, roll back. Exhale, come up. We're going to do neck pull, if you remember neck pull. Again, if you're modifying the roll up, I want you to modify a neck pull. Neck pull just adds an element of flat back. So we're not articulating through the spine anymore. We're going to go flat back and then we articulate afterwards. So we're grabbing at the base. It's called the occipital ridge. Like at the base of your occipital lobe back here is this ridge where your skull meets the neck, the spine. We're going to lift tall. When we lift, our ribs pop. It just happens. So then we're going to soften the ribs in. Inner thighs are squeezed together, whether your knees are bent or long. We're going to lean back, sucking the ribs together and in. That will maintain our flat back. If we don't suck in at the ribs, we will go into extension. We don't want to do that. When you can't maintain the flat back anymore, you're going to roll down. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, roll up. Take your head, top of your head towards the feet. Pull the belly in. C curve. Belly sucking in. Now from the C curve, we want to get to a flat back. So we're going to start to lift the breastbone up and away from the belly button, creating length in the spine, ribs pulled in, and slowly come all the way back up to a flat back. Inhale, lift, neck pull. Exhale, lean. Roll when you need to roll. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, come up. Head towards the feet. Belly pulls in, feet are flexed. Everything hugging in towards midline, shoulders down the back. Lift and lengthen the spine into your flat back position. Ribs in, and we sit back up. I'm going to show you a modified version of neck pull. Lengthen, ribs in, roll. Chin to chest, roll up. Head towards feet, belly in, lift and lengthen the spine, and come back up. Keep going. I'm going to show another version, and this was what it might look like if your hamstrings are really tight. You're going to go back, and you're going to come down. You're going to come up. Feet are flexed, and it might only look like this for you if your hamstrings are really tight, belly is pulled in. Lift and lengthen the spine, ribs in, and we come back up. And one more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lean, ribs in, roll. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, head towards feet, pull the belly in. Lift and lengthen, ribs in, and we come right back up. Roll over onto your belly for single leg stretch. Set up. All right. So let's talk about all those, that Pilates language. So we're going to go shoulders down the back. Powerhouse, engage. So that would be we're squeezing the inner thighs together. We're pulling up through the pelvic floor. We're sucking the belly and scooping out the abs, sucking the ribs up, hugging the waist into midline. Your side waist into midline, hugging the outer hips in, shoulders down and spread out wide. Pick up both legs. Lengthen them. So as you're shooting the legs long, you're hugging back into midline. All right, right heel kick. Kick to butt 2 times. Kick, kick, lengthen, hug, squeeze, scoop out the abs. Left side, kick, kick, hug. Now pay attention to your torso. If you're not connected, your torso is going to flop around. It's going to be like bouncing around a little bit. If you're connected, you will be cemented. Your torso will be cemented. You could move your legs without the rest of your body moving. Kick, kick, lengthen, hug. Kick, kick, lengthen, hug. Kick, kick, hug. Kick, kick, hug. Kick, kick. It's never just about the movement. It's about the connections. Flex, flex, lengthen, hug, scoop, squeeze. Flex, flex, lengthen, hug. Hold it, long legs. Keep them lifted, hug in, shoulders down, belly up. Little flutter kicks for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest it. Bring the elbows in, roll the shoulders back, push back to child's pose, knees apart, feet together. All right, and then just for a sec, watch me for a second. I'm going to show you, I'm hoping, and I might try to exaggerate it, what it looks like when you cannot connect it versus connect it. So if I don't connect anything and I come down here and I do my single leg kicks, my body is going to move around. And that's how I know, like when I graded you guys on connections, if your body was moving around, I knew you weren't connected. But if I now draw my shoulders down, hug into midline, hug everything in, and then I kick, my body's not going to move. Or it has little movement. So that's what those connections are. It's like pulling everything in so you anchor yourself like a cement ship just anchored, and then like your sails can move without the centering, the anchoring of the ship. All right, let's go to sitting up. We're going to finish with a mermaid and a twist. So mermaid, your legs can be like this, but they don't have to be. They can be any way that you're comfortable. And then let's lift the ribs. Roll the shoulder back. Think of your Pilates box. And we're going to lift up and over this left hip point as we lean to the left, relaxing ear to shoulder. Make sure that left shoulder is rolled back and it's opened. You're wide across your Pilates box. And then we're going to stretch up, 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 up. Grab onto the shin if you're here. Roll the shoulder back, lift up to come over. Relaxing ear towards shoulder. And stretch up, up, up. And switch sides. All right, and let's karate chop. Lift and lean. And then come up, 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 up. And grab on, roll the shoulder back, lift to lean. Make sure the shoulders soften away from the ear. And bring it up, up, up. And then now I want us all to pick a leg position that is more symmetrical. So for me, it might be like this. You can do crisscross, that's fine. That's not symmetrical, but we'll just switch after one. So I just want you to feel the difference in the leg positions for what feels right, better for your body for mermaid. So now let's lift up, and we'll lean. And then pull the belly in, stretch the ribs up. We're always going for length. We're going for length in Pilates to come up. So it's never about just the movement. It's about lifting axial length through the spine, lifting to lean, and then lifting to unlean. If you're in crisscross, just switch your crisscross. And we're going to end with a twist. So let's try to put all those concepts together. So lengthening through the spine, axial length through the spine, scooping out the abs, pulling the belly in. Rolling the shoulders back, collarbones wide, hugging everything into midline, outer hips hugging in, waistline hugging in. Arms are going to go up, but the shoulders are going to stay down the back. Growing tall through, think of the occipital lobe, occipital ridge lifting as the arms open out to the side. Collarbones wide. Your Pilates box gets even a little bit bigger along the collarbones. And tummy pulls in, shoulders go down as we pull the belly in and we untwist. Inhale, shoulders down. We grow tall through the spine, ribs in. Exhale, twist. Stay lifted. All right, is your low back arched? If it is, soften those front ribs in. Keep the belly in. Keep lifting through the spine even though we're softening the ribs in. Opening the top of your Pilates box. Shoulders go down, belly in. And we come right back to center. And we rest it.